Right now, I'm driving my first car, a 2012 Volkswagen Jetta. This year, this car turns 13 years old. I bought it last year for less than 10,000 bucks, and it has 36, almost 37,000 kilometers on it. And even though it is in very good shape and it is very low mileage, I could have gone for a more expensive car and could have taken a car loan. But I didn't, and here's why. As you could have guessed from my channel, I'm very passionate about cars and I'm very passionate about driving. But one of the other aspects that I'm very passionate about in my life is personal finance. And when I realized that cars are going to be a huge part of my life, I decided that I wanted to be smart about it because cars are super expensive. I still wanted to enjoy my hobby, but I wanted to stay financially responsible. So let's talk about my situation. I'm 26 and I have so many other financial goals I want to hit. For example, I want to save up for a down payment on a home. I also am planning a wedding in a couple of years, so I have to be prepared for that as well. And I also have some other hobbies, such as traveling with my partner, which is a very huge part of our lives. And I want to be able to save up for those things as well. Overall, I just wanted to have a balance in my life, balance in my financial life, so that I can enjoy my hobbies, but still be well set for the future. So when I was searching for my first car, I had a couple of options. The first one was to buy a more expensive car for $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 and take out a car loan. But it would mean that I would have less money saved up, again, for so many other things I'm planning for. But first of all, I didn't have that much money in cash lying around, and I don't think it is financially responsible to have all of this cash invested in a depreciating asset, especially this early in your career and life. And I'm not this kind of person to compete with other people and have the nicest things ever as early as I can. So I didn't care as much to have a nicer car as my first one. And if I had a car payment, it would have been so much harder for me to save for a wedding or travel as much as I want, so it didn't make sense to me. But as most of you probably know, the cost of owning a car doesn't only mean having a car payment. It also means you have to maintain your car, you have to buy insurance, you have to maybe repair your car sometime, and you have to buy fuel. And when you're young and you don't have as much of a driving experience on your license, buying a newer car means you're gonna pay a lot for your insurance. There's no way to trick the system. Newer cars are more expensive to repair, so insurance company is gonna ask you to pay premium for your insurance. When you buy an older and less expensive car, you're gonna pay less for your insurance, which is so great because we have already saved on the car payment, because I assume that if you're gonna buy a less expensive and older car, you're gonna buy it with cash. So we don't need to care about the car payment and we're gonna pay less for insurance. And this road is so beautiful, guys. I like it so much. And some people would argue with me, saying that if you buy a newer car, you don't have to worry about anything because it's under warranty and it's not going to break on you. But I think if you spend enough time doing research on older cars and understanding the reliability of different car brands and different car models, you can actually buy a very decent car for your money and spend actually less money on maintenance and repairs. So let's talk about why I bought this 2012 Volkswagen Jetta. And the reason is very simple. So this Jetta actually comes with the 2.5 liter inline-5 engine, which is one of the most reliable engines Volkswagen has ever produced. If you go on any forum, you will read that this engine is basically bulletproof. And the coolest thing is that in North America, people think that Volkswagens are very unreliable. They think that Japanese cars are very, very reliable instead. And if you looked on the used market, the Japanese cars are much more expensive when you buy them used compared to Volkswagen models. And since not many people know about this exact engine, you can still buy these cars for much cheaper than you can buy Japanese cars of the same year and mileage. So for example, when I was looking to buy one of these cars, I was of course cross-shopping it with Toyota Camry, Honda Accord, Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla, and which was funny is that I bought this car for less than $10,000 US, but when I was looking for a similar Toyota Camry in this price point, I found one with 100,000 kilometers on it, and it was from 2007 for the same price as this car. So for me, it was actually a no-brainer to get this car. And I'm just talking about, this particular price point, $10,000. It will depend, of course, on your budget. Some people shop for $5,000 cars. Some people shop for $15,000, $20,000 used cars. So, of course, make your due diligence and, go and research your cars. You can find very good used options, even in our terrible used car market. So why is it great to have a less expensive older car? First of all, you don't care that much about damaging your car, scratching it, or putting a dent. And since I'm talking a lot about young drivers and getting your first car, it is so important to have a car that you don't care that much about, especially when you try to learn, and you will make mistakes inevitably. And even though $10,000 is not a spare change, it's actually a lot of money, and I do care about my car, but it's just less stress to think about. I also feel like it's just such a great, inexpensive way to learn about car ownership, to learn about how to maintain your car, how to actually fuel up your car, or change wipers, or change oil. You can learn how to pay for your bills, how to be responsible for your car, and you haven't spent that much. So it just feels good. And again, due to the fact that I'm still pretty young, I don't want a huge percentage of my net worth be tied up in a depreciating asset. And if you think about buying a new car for, let's say, $30,000, new cars depreciate so much in the first 3 years. It's just so hard to stomach this loss, especially when you just start building your net worth. And again, I can anticipate some of the comments saying that you can buy a car which is not depreciating as much like most cars. And this is true. There are some enthusiast cars that don't depreciate as much, even if you buy them new, or there are some special cars, but usually they are on the more expensive side. And not many people can splurge for that much car, when they're just starting out. So let's assume every new car is going to depreciate, and they will. So I don't think it is a good thing to owe that much on the car that is going to depreciate so fast. Just think about it. Usually car loans last from 3 to 6 years, and sometimes people get 84-month car loans, which is basically insane. $30,000 for a new car or $10,000 for a used car. Let's say both the used car and new car is going to depreciate 10% every year. But 10% on $30,000 and 10% on $10,000 is so much different. I think it's relatively easy to save $5,000 or $10,000 and buy a less expensive used car. And when you buy your car with cash, you gain so much more flexibility. For example, you can sell it whenever you want and get all the money for it. You're not stuck in a car loan, so if you want to change your car or you want to get rid of your car, it is so much easier to do so. And since I'm a car enthusiast, I would like to own many cars in my driving career, and I wanted to get this car and maybe upgrade it in a couple of years. And buying this car in cash makes it so much more flexible for me to upgrade this car. But even if you don't think like me, you don't want to upgrade your car every couple of years, and you think that cars are not worth it and they are depreciating assets, If you need a transportation device, this is the best thing you can do financially. To buy a used, decent car, which is easy and cheap to maintain, and just drive it as long as you can. And the next point I wanted to discuss, I think will correlate to many young people, which is social pressure. You probably have this one friend or one coworker that has a fancy new car, and you know that they're probably earning the same amount of money as you are, and they are on the same social hierarchy level, but they drive a very good, nice new car, and you drive some older, inexpensive car, and you feel bad about yourself. You know, with TikTok, Instagram, it is so much easy to think less of yourself when you compare yourself to other people, and it is a very toxic thing to do, but it is the reality of our modern times. And many people just want to show off that they have, a fancy new car, even if they cannot afford it. So I think it is very, very important for young people especially to not fall into this trap of trying to keep up with your friends, with your coworkers. If you see someone driving a very expensive car, it doesn't mean that they can afford it, because as you know, we have financing. Sometimes people don't even earn that much to be able to afford a very expensive car, but the bank will still give them money because you can extend the car loan to 84 months, 72 months, whatever it is. And it's just one of those stupid things about our modern society that we measure everything in terms of monthly payments, while we should look actually at the full price of the thing we're buying, such as cars. It doesn't matter if your car payment is $400, but the car is worth $70,000. You're still gonna pay those $70,000, and actually you're gonna pay more because you're gonna pay so much on interest. So try not to be scared of this social pressure, keeping up with everyone. It doesn't matter as much. We all have our own path, our own financial and driving career path. So just do what is comfortable for you. So again, for me, I could have bought a more expensive car. I could have gotten a car loan, but I knew I wouldn't be comfortable doing it. I needed this stress-free experience, especially this early in my life, to not have a car payment, just buy my car in cash and enjoy it. I think the book that changed my whole perspective on money and wealth was The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. And one of the most important points from this book was that if you're rich, it doesn't mean you're wealthy. And when people get a fancy car with the car loan, it doesn't mean they're wealthy, because wealth is something that we don't see. Wealth is in people's stocks, people's checking accounts, which are not visible to other people. But cars, on the other hand, are very, very visible for other people. But it doesn't mean that the person is wealthy. The person who is driving a fancy new car could have zero in investments or zero in their checking account. They could be spending all of the money they earn into their new fancy car. So don't be fooled by this perception of being rich and wealthy. And I think with my channel, I proved that you don't need to have a fancy car for people to listen to you. I've made some videos about how to become a better driver and some other car-related things on my channel, and I've got so much great positive feedback because people resonate and value the things I say and the things that I do. It doesn't matter to them if I do it in a Volkswagen Jetta from 2012 or if I do it from a 2025 BMW M5. Honestly, nobody cares. People think that you have to have a newer car nowadays. But this car does everything that I honestly need. It has 5 seats, as you can see. Whenever I go out with my friends, we go out on a road trip, I can fit 4 of my friends. From the exterior standpoint, this car is not winning any awards. It just looks decent, especially for its age. This car is again 13 years old. The interior looks nice, and I have retrofitted the touchscreen with Apple CarPlay, So I don't lack actually any technology in my car because honestly, whenever I sit in a new car, I just use Apple CarPlay anyways. I have a sunroof, which I can use. I have heated seats. Yes, they're not massaging, they're not cooled seats. But honestly, do you really need those amenities? It's more of a nice to have rather than need to have. It doesn't weigh a lot. It only weighs around 3,000 pounds, so it's pretty fun to toss around corners. It's just decent, you know. And decent is great. So yes, I could have bought a more expensive car, but I didn't. And I'm glad I didn't, because now I have a reliable daily, a peace of mind, financial flexibility, and ability to plan my future, save up for my future, and not be stressed about the car loan dragging me down. I'm very eager to read your comments and have a discussion about this very important topic, money and cars. And as always, stay safe out there, keep enjoying the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.